And I learned my lesson at senior awards. I stood for 2.5 hours. We should get one of like those possible matches.
Goodness. Good evening. Welcome to the 21-22 Top 5% Awards for Strongsville High School. My name is Bill Wingler. I'm the principal. And tonight we are going to celebrate the best and brightest of this year's graduating class. As we get started, I would like to introduce this evening, helping me hand out the awards will be our superintendent, Dr. Cameron Ryba. And our assistant superintendent, Mrs. Jenny Pelko. So I'm going to try to save some of my stories because those of you who have been here for the last couple of award ceremonies have heard them all because it feels like we do quite a few of these every year. But this one is really kind of special, right? This is the top 5% of the graduating class. And what that means is they are the absolute cream of the crop academically. And that means something because here in Strongsville, in order to do that, the competition is quite fierce. If you look at the GPA list, you have to be on the other side of 4.5 to have a shot to get here tonight. And what that means is they took a whole lot of honors courses, AP courses, or CCP courses in order to get the weighted grades to get to this point. The other really exciting part about tonight is that this just isn't just about students. It's about a teacher that inspired our students. And last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, which I think is appropriately in May, because in May I think everybody is fairly tired and state testing is going on, and you can see the hard work that is still going on, but you can also see that they're all ready for a little bit of a summer sabbatical. So one of my favorite things about this ceremony is that tonight we're going to honor your children who are at the top of the class. We're also going to honor an educator that inspired them. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first student who will be attending The Ohio State University with a major in physical therapy is Miss Annabelle Abdallah.
Oh God. Hello, I'm Annabelle. I'm very nervous, as you guys can probably tell. But the teacher I chose that inspired me most was Mr. Koval. To Bald Eagle, one of the most best teachers I've ever had. First, I just want to start by saying a simple thank you. As you can already see by how I referenced this tall, bald man, yes, I think he's okay with me calling him that. He is one of the most genuine, caring teachers I've ever had. From the moment of the first day in class, Koval was instantly creating personal relationships with not only me, but every single one of us in his class. He created such a vibrant environment that inspired us to build relationships with one another as well, and that the dynamic of the class he created was truly something so special. We have easily turned into a pre-med family. We can crack jokes and all take interest in each other's stories each day while still getting work done successfully. I want to thank you for finding a way to make learning something so difficult so much fun. You have greatly furthered my interest in this field of study and with how well and thorough you teach the subject. You create this positive atmosphere and have so much enthusiasm teaching us each day and inspires me to stay engaged and continue finishing strong. Even if I have an off day or may not be in the best mood, you deal with my attitude so well and you always find a way to turn my mood around or just simply take the time to ask me what is wrong, and it makes all the difference in the rest of my day. Koval, you have not only inspired me academically, but on a general life note, and I strive to be as personable and charismatic as you one day. No matter what career path I choose to take, I will always remember your little life lessons and positive attitude towards learning and apply that to myself wherever my endeavors may take me. You are truly like a school dad to all of us, and I appreciate you for welcoming welcoming me into your classroom with such open arms each day. Thank you for making my senior year one for the books and brightening my day every time I step into your presence. You are the absolute best, and I cannot thank you enough, and I will forever cherish the Bald Eagle memories. Thank you.
Congratulations, young lady. Next, attending The Ohio State University with a major in biomedical engineering is Miss Emily Adnich.
It was spring of 2021, nearing the end of my junior year, and it was time to schedule my classes for the last year of high school, senior year. Senior year is the time where most students already have all the credits necessary to graduate, so exploratory or fun electives can fill their schedule. Now, to most students, anything with AP in front of it would not be considered a fun or exploratory class, but for me it did. AP Computer Science A, how bad could it be? Let me tell you, it was awful. I struggled every single day in this class, some nights staying up into the late hours of the night to complete work on the verge of tears of frustration. This was the first class I've taken that I've truly struggled with and didn't understand things the first time they were explained to me. And as painful as the first semester was, I still didn't drop the class. This partially had to do with my determination to fully finish the class, but mostly to do with who taught it, Miss Che. Miss Che had substituted my honors geometry class my freshman year of high school, and everyone was immediately drawn to her humor and how charismatic she was with the students. She immediately became one of my favorite, and probably most students' favorite, substitutes to have. Yes, we would still get the work done in class, but she would joke around with us and talk to the class like she was our friend. This only continued to grow over the past few years. Having Miss Che as a teacher is more than just an academic connection. Not only is she an inspiration academically to me, I consider her a role model beyond that. She was always willing to help me with what I was struggling with in her class and my other classes, but also with giving me life advice. I spent every lunch period in her room, whether it was helping her decorate her door, doing test corrections, or simply eating lunch and conversing with her. She taught me there are more important things than just numbers in a gradebook, hard work, learning from your mistakes, making personal connections, and staying determined. She has impacted the way I view my learning, as well as my future learning, and how I should continue to conduct myself throughout my life to grow academically and as a person. So I just want to say thank you for being one of the best teachers I've ever had, mentor, and friend.
Our next student attending the University of Cincinnati with a major in biomedical pre-med, Ms. Kate Carey.
Out of all my teachers, Senora Barbara Miner has had the greatest impact on my high school education. I had her as my Spanish teacher from freshman to junior year. These 3 years in her class were filled with fun projects, cultural lessons, volunteer opportunities, and so much more. Her creative teaching style helped me to find my most effective study tools and become a more efficient student. Senora Barbara Miner is one of the most selfless people I know. From volunteering in El Salvador in the summers to leading students like me on the school Spain trip, she does not fail to demonstrate her dedication to helping others. One of my favorite memories with her was during the Spain trip. The entire time I had been trying to find a bag from one of the street vendors as a present for my little sister. She went out of her way to help me search the streets for this bag on the very last night while everyone else was still eating dinner. Kindness like that demonstrates how much she truly cares about each individual student's happiness. She is truly passionate about what she is teaching, and that has been extremely inspiring to me.
Our next student, attending Case Western Reserve University with a major in neuroscience, Miss Lauren Dunlap.
Okay. Mrs. Bartel is easily the most inspiring and impactful teacher I've ever had. Both inside and outside of the classroom, she's extremely hardworking and compassionate, a strong teacher and mother who never loses her drive. Throughout her son's battle with leukemia, Mrs. Bartel is continuously there for those who need her. As my AP language teacher in 11th grade, she was there to answer anyone's questions and help them through whatever they needed assistance with, the Jedi Master to her affectionately named Padawan students. While struggling through the trials of junior year, attending Mrs. Bartel's class or even just saying hello to her in the hallways brought me into a much brighter, happier place. Though reading and writing may seem to be a chore to some students, Mrs. Bartel gave me a voice in times of hardship through writing, an escape that I'm incredibly grateful for. As an advisor for the National Honor Society, working alongside her as an executive board member is always a rewarding experience. She's incredibly hardworking and kind, proud of her son and her students, and always open to support everyone. She's someone I will always look up to. From sharing cute pictures of her bulldog and geeking over movies to discussing the hardships of life, conversations with her are always more than rewarding. One of my favorite memories with her was talking with her at NHS's Cookies for a Cure, sitting outside of a basketball game, discussing anything and everything, where the 3-hour shift went flying by. Seeing how hard Mrs. Bartel works on a daily basis, even though she has an incredible amount of stress to deal with, is truly inspiring and has forever impacted my life. Do or Do Not, There Is No Try, by her favorite character Yoda, is exactly what Mrs. Bartel does, never giving up against whatever comes her way and always pushes forward. I hope to possess even a fraction of her resilience and kindness as I continue my journey both as her Padawan learner and friend.
Our next student, attending Ohio University with a major in engineering, is Laura Fogwell.
I have selected Frau Potter as my most influential educator. It's rare to have the same teacher for 3 years, but I found myself lucky enough to be in that situation. Throughout these 3 years, Frau Potter has always encouraged me and pushed me to do my best. She knows her students well and helps them to reach their potential. But even more than the academic aspect, Frau Potter is always a listener. No matter if it's a frustration or accomplishment, she will always make an effort to hear what I have to say. Teachers often have life experiences to speak from, and Frau Potter uses hers to help her students always. I truly appreciate her teaching and advice throughout the years, and I know it'll be rare to come across another teacher like her.
Our next student, attending Purdue University with a major in mechanical engineering, Mr. Philip Goldberg.
My first interaction with this teacher was not actually in one of his classes. My first introduction to Mr. Scott was in one of the math competitions that commonly take place after school. Now, coming from a math competition on a Saturday morning, you would expect that people would try to get out of there as soon as they possibly could. But Mr. Scott would take time out of his own day to stay after the test and go over the problems with the students who had completed the competition. He enjoyed the content so much that he wanted to do the problems with the students and go over them after the test was over. Now, I had the opportunity to be in Mr. Scott's class this year and last year in VC Calculus, and now this year with the classes that he takes for seniors. So Mr. Scott, he teaches the hardest math classes at this high school, manages to flawlessly know all of the content and be able to teach it with barely any preparation to the point where he can go. Now, he prepares, but he can take a slideshow that he made a year ago and predict what is going to come next. He knows that well what he's going over. He doesn't even need the notes. He's just going through the problems, and he's honestly checking with us as we're going through. Now, we think that we always think he's going super slowly and that he wants to even speed himself up. But if you look at Mr. Scott and his classes, we are always done weeks before the school year is over. And his preparation for whether it be an AP test or a final is flawless. And we all perform extremely well when it comes to the test at the end of the year. And not only that, Mr. Scott, I've always sat near the back of the room in his classes, and I always see him try to connect with students at a personal level. Now, maybe it was a second period class and he was just trying to waste time because he didn't have enough content for the day, but he truly does try to connect with every student down to a personal level, whether it be talking about like driving techniques that we've had throughout our learning how to drive, or curling, which for me it was great because I would watch the Olympics in class anyway, so that just made it easier. And he really just wants to connect with the student besides what's happening in the classroom. And to sum it all up, it really doesn't come down to what you learn in their class, but what you take away from personal values that you can use in the future. And Mr. Scott really embodies that.
Congratulations. Our next student, whose college is undecided but knows he will be majoring in electrical engineering, is Jacob Huber.
So in middle school, I felt rather directionless, which is a weird thing to say when you're only in middle school, but I felt like I just wanted to do something, and I didn't, and I was bored a lot. I enjoyed my classes, but I never really felt challenged and just sort of went through 7th grade without knowing what I wanted to do. But that all changed next year when Miss Battle introduced me to the makerspace and gave me the opportunity to spend 2 of my periods each day working in the media center. Under her encouragement, I find myself enjoying school much more, helping her to set up the tech in the media center and discovering my interest along the way. The makerspace was also where I first met real failure, as projects Miss Battle gave me or inspired me to do often went wrong in spectacular fashion. But each setback was treated as a learning experience, and never did I really feel that it hit a dead end. Miss Battle's resolve was contagious, and I will always be amazed at how much she's expanded the makerspace in just a few short years. I owe my future career to Miss Battle, as the time I spent with her in middle school, and even now, has helped me discover my true passion for engineering.
Our next student attending Grove City College with a major in electrical engineering is Jocelyn Huber.
Hi, the teacher I'll be honoring is Mrs. Sherwood. Her class is easily one of the most memorable years of my Strongsville career. All of the material she taught was really engaging, and she just did an amazing job with her teaching. Her love for learning was infectious, and every lesson was taught with care. I remember many of her lessons, such as participating in NaNoWriMo or National Novel Writing Month. That was particularly challenging because we had to write a novel in a month, and she encouraged us to have a minimum word requirement of 5,000 words. Now, as a fifth grader, that seems a bit hard, but with her encouragement, she truly pushed us to do the best we could. Furthermore, she also taught a wide variety of mathematics, which helped me discover my true love for math. I love all of the sciences and math, and through her teaching, she just showed how learning can be challenging, but also really rewarding. I will forever remember the memories that we made in that class, and I owe my love for learning for her. Thank you.
Nice job.
Congratulations. Congratulations. It's great to see you again. Our next student is going to attend the University of Michigan with a major in neuroscience, Ms. Kristen Johnson.
The teacher that I would like to honor tonight is Miss McKnight. So Miss McKnight was my honoree because she caused me to develop real-world skills in addition to learning academic knowledge, and for inspiring me to pursue research as a potential career. I had Miss McKnight for AP Research. She taught the class with great excitement and passion, which was quickly passed on to us students. In the class, Miss McKnight guided me through a year-long independent research project, causing me to foster new skills and manners of thinking along the way. In addition to learning about what research encompasses and how to conduct research, I learned how to find and analyze reliable academic sources, how to create a timeline for a long-term project, how to write in an academic style, and so much more. These are skills that I will continue to use in future schooling and in my future occupations. Beyond skill development, Ms. McKnight inspired my desire to pursue research as a potential career at Michigan. She encouraged me to pursue research in an area I was passionate about, regularly offering assistance for my project, and showed me the effect my research could have on the world. From all of this, she made my individual research project feel important and showed me how exhilarating and rewarding research can be. All this made me realize that I would enjoy doing research as a potential occupation. So thank you for everything, Ms. McKnight.
Our next student, attending Denison University with a major in biology, Mr. Henry Joniak.
I chose Mrs. Jenke for the Top 5% award because she made me love learning. Her classroom made me feel safe from the outside world while still challenging me to learn about complex problems and issues that would prepare me for my future schooling more than anything else. She taught me to think like an academic and to see issues and also recognize that different situations have different solutions. And to solve an issue, you have to break it down to really learn about the situation. She made me confident in my abilities as an academic and taught me how to find a solution and be proud and confident in it. Above everything else, Mrs. Jenke made me love math. In the school year, she proposed a problem to everyone in the class. If someone opened 1,000 lockers and then someone ran across and shut every locker, another person opened every other locker, then someone else changed every third, and so on, what lockers would be left open? She allowed us to work together as long as we figured it out by ourselves, and we learned it with just our own minds and each other. In the end, me and some of my friends figured out it was all the prime number lockers. We went through the calculations of each locker until we found a problem, until we found a pattern, and that problem gave me insight into how math can be used and how it can be made enjoyable by approaching math as problem solving and not only just paper and pencil arithmetic.
Congratulations. Our next student, attending Notre Dame College with a major in cybersecurity, Mr. Zachary Kakos.
Mrs. Karen Sherwood has had a major impact on how my educational career and how I developed as a person has influenced me and has led me to where I am today. It's become the person who I am. Every mind requires some sort of reassurance, whether it's emotional, physical, intellectual, and Mrs. Sherwood was always there to provide something of the sort. Especially in those early years in elementary school, 3rd and 4th grade, where you're really wired for the rest of your life, early formative years. It's really, really nice to have her there. There's no greater feeling than to be able to express yourself in the way you want to be expressed, and I'm thankful for her for helping to give me the tools that allow me to do so. By treating me as someone who can handle hard tasks and treating me as sort of an adult, I was able to develop myself and really force myself to become better in the face of adversity rather than give up and quit. I still remember the first Google Drive assignments that we wrote when we got introduced to Chromebooks back in elementary school. I went back and read a couple of them, and those were rough, but I'm glad I started in 4th grade, and there's really no better experience, and there's nothing that makes you reflect more than being able to look back and see how far you've come, and I really appreciate her for that. Thank you, Mrs. Sherwood.
Our next student attending the University of Rochester with a major in biomedical engineering, Mr. Alexander Clavin.
I chose Mr. Scott as the educator I would like to recognize because he is truly committed to helping his students and because learning math feels natural in his classes. Last year, I had Mr. Scott for 2 classes. Those were AP Calculus BC and AP Computer Science A. Last year was the only year that he taught computer science. Since there was no computer science teacher, the class could not have happened without him. If I hadn't been able to take the class, I wouldn't know now how much I enjoy computer science. In preparation for teaching the class, he learned the entire AP Computer Science A curriculum during the summer. For BC Calculus, he also showed an impressive commitment to teaching. Despite the need to learn remotely for some of the year, the class was still very organized and very well done. The class was very well adapted to remote learning. Later in the year, he provided ample opportunities to prepare for the AP exams for both calculus and computer science, both in and outside of class time. This was extremely helpful for feeling prepared for these AP exams. And I know that he did the same this year for AP Calculus BC. This year, I've had Mr. Scott for multivariable calculus and linear algebra, both of which are classes that I found very interesting. Again, the commitment to helping students has been remarkable. At the beginning of the year, he was incredibly helpful for some students who had had issues with the Cleveland State University application that is required to use the course for college credit. So it was super helpful for allowing these students to get college credit that they otherwise might not have been able to get. And again, throughout the year, he's done an amazing job with the classes. Even though it's math that's completely different from anything that I've learned before, it still feels natural to learn it. All in all, I'm very grateful to have been able to take the classes that Mr. Scott teaches with a teacher who cares so much about doing the classes right. As I will be going into a STEM career, the classes I've taken with Mr. Scott will certainly be important classes for my future education. So thank you, Mr. Scott.
Nice job, Mike. Our next student whose college is undecided with an undecided major is Miss Meredith Cleansing.
Although I only had Mrs. McKnight as a teacher for 1 year, she truly had an impact on my educational experience and how I approach life. When I signed up for AP Research, my plan was honestly to try to make it through as painlessly as possible. However, as the year went on, Mrs. McKnight helped me discover an area that I had genuine interest in and opened my eyes to a more enjoyable and self-directed side of education. I was able to work alongside Mrs. McKnight to develop a final project that I was proud of. Not only did she help me develop excitement for education, but she also helped me step outside of my comfort zone. Prior to being in the AP Research class, I did not enjoy presentations, and with her help and her preparation, I was able to put together and present a clean 20-minute presentation that would have been impossible for me to do just a year prior. This ability has been instrumental in my other successes and has helped me in both my personal and my professional life. Mrs. McKnight has also acted as a mentor for me outside the classroom, and I have met with her on multiple occasions, simply to talk or to receive advice. I'm extremely grateful for this connection and all that she has done for me over the past 2 years. She helped me maximize my potential, step outside of my comfort zone, and is all around an amazing person. Thank you so much, Mrs. McKnight.
You know, our next student, attending The Ohio State University with a major in biomedical science, Anya Krishnan.
Having been Senora Barba's student for 2 years, I was able to receive her guidance both in her classroom and out. During these years, I not only learned more about the Spanish language, but also the culture. Each day, class was always a surprise as we could spend the period learning to salsa dance, singing songs, or trying new foods. Rather than simply learning vocabulary terms or grammar, we learned about the traditions and cultures behind the subject. The excitement we faced each day showed me that learning does not have to be confined to what is the traditional sense, but instead, learning could be greeted with excitement. Senora Barba's teaching shaped the way I approach learning and studying as a whole. I now look towards learning with more curiosity about what lies beneath the surface. Moreover, Senora Barba stood as an advisor both in my clubs and outside of these extracurriculars. She was always available to talk to when I had a stressful day or needed help with my assignments and would encourage us all to persevere through these obstacles. I looked forward to coming to her class as I knew we would be greeted with a smile. I chose Senora Barba because she has transformed my outlook to be more positive and has shown me that I am able to overcome any obstacle to reach my full potential. Thank you, Senora Barba.
Our next student, attending the University of Michigan with a major in microbiology, Ms. Faith Lee.
The teacher that I would like to honor today is Mr. Scott. In the 2 years that I have had him, he has taught me linear algebra, BC calculus, multivariable calculus, and the willingness to excel. He taught me the material in such a way where I knew regardless of my situation, I could always do a good job. He even went as far to upload his lectures to allow us to solidify understanding after viewing them for the second time, or third time, or many times after that. On the 20-hour bus ride from here to Orlando, Florida, at our school Disney trip, I viewed many videos in revision for our final, and in the midst of a blackout wherein my house had no electricity, heat, or power, I once completed Mr. Scott's assigned homework under the streetlight of a fast food chain restaurant's parking lot. I know what you're all thinking. Yes, it was Burger King. In all seriousness, my motivations to do this worksheet and to do everything in that class were not out of fear of getting in trouble, of my grade dropping, but simply because I knew that he taught me well enough to do it in any situation. Even though my circumstances are not always ideal, and especially when they are not ideal, I never ever truly considered that I could equip myself with all the reasons not to do my work. Mr. Scott taught me better than that. All of Mr. Scott's students share this sentiment as our math credits were fulfilled the year before having him. And I speak for us all in saying that we decided to continue because we wanted to be part of his inspired, close, and ambitious classes. I'm so thankful that we were met with such an inspiring teacher to reward us continually for choosing to excel. Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Next, attending Cleveland State University with a major in history and economics, Taylor Lucas.
I am truly fortunate to have experienced such a passionate and personable teacher as Mrs. Gunlaw for my 7th grade honors social studies class. 5 years ago, Mrs. Gunlaw opened her classroom door to me and the rest of her 9th period class at the brand new SMS. Not having much interest in learning history before entering her classroom, her enthusiasm for this subject instilled my love for it. The way she expressed so much joy in teaching made her class the one I looked forward to at the end of each and every day. It was there that I excitedly learned about the powerful figures of the past, the age of exploration, the fathers of philosophy and their teachings, art and architecture, our government, the Renaissance, and so much more. Mrs. Gunlaw's passion for history has contributed to much of what I love now. She furthered the development of my critical thinking skills by inspiring me to analyze parts of history like the pieces of a puzzle. She also made sure that each assignment always provided an opportunity to embrace creativity, making her class fun, lively, and engaging. Without her, I do not believe I would have found such a strong love for learning history so early in my development. Thank you, Mrs. Gunlaw, for your passionate and personable teaching that has inspired me to follow this passion into the next phase of my life.
Our next student, attending Duquesne University with a major in applied mathematics, Miss Elizabeth Matchka.
Throughout my education at Strongsville, I've been introduced to some amazing teachers. However, Mrs. Schroet, who is both my 3rd and 4th grade teacher, made a special impression on my views of academics and myself. Mrs. Schroet constantly encouraged me to utilize my full potential and feel proud of any accomplishments in all aspects of my life. Whether it be giving me an extra assignment to complete for fun during my elementary school, or reaching out to me when I was going to the state championship in my freshman and junior year of high school for soccer, Mrs. Schroet always kept me in mind. Today, I want to thank her for all the support she gave me, but mostly for teaching me how to embrace going above and beyond. She showed me that there is no shame in wanting the most for myself, and without that skill, I would not be receiving this honor. Thank you, Mrs. Schroet, for staying actively engaged by me throughout my years and for being such an influential role model in my life.
Our next student, attending The Ohio State University with a major in astrophysics, Mr. Matthew Morey.
As my honoree, I chose Mrs. Cubatus as she personifies what it means to be an educator. Unlike me, she has the patience for everyone and ensures that people learn despite their intellectual differences. She doesn't see or recognize any of these differences as she treats every student as if they were her own children. The sight of her crying after telling my class to be safe on homecoming night because she had past students that were in a terrible accident has been seared into my brain. This is when I truly knew that Mrs. Kubatis truly made personal connections with each and every one of her classes, and as well as each and every one of her students. The immense care that she has for her students, not just inside the classroom, is astonishing and deserves the utmost recognition. Thank you.
Our next student, attending Purdue University with a major in aerospace engineering, Miss Emma Ogg.
Throughout my time at Strongsville High School, I've had the opportunity to learn from a lot of great teachers that shaped me into the student that I am today. While I had so many amazing teachers, there was one that stood out to me in particular because of the constant effort she made to accommodate for every one of her students and the genuine care and interest she had in her students' lives, both inside and outside of school. I had Mrs. Van Kerkhoff my junior and senior year for AP Physics 1 and AP Physics Mechanics. Within our first class period, her genuine kindness and care for the students she gets to teach was very clear. In my first year having Mrs. Van Kerkhoff as a teacher, we started the year off virtual. But even though we did not get to meet in person with her, she still made every effort possible to make sure that we all got to know her and each other, and that we all felt comfortable in her class. In a lot of my other classes that year, when we came back to in-person school, I felt like the year was just starting, and it felt like we were meeting the teacher for the very first time, even though we had classes online for months. But Mrs. Van Kerkhoff's class was different. In our first day in school, in person, I was already comfortable in her class because of how hard she worked to get to know us and make sure we would feel welcome in her class. Almost every day in class, she would make sure to walk around to each of us and ask how our day was going, or would ask us to tell us one high and low of our day. There were multiple times where she would notice that someone was upset about something, so she would write them a Post-it note so they knew that they were able to talk to her if they ever needed to. This aspect about Mrs. Van Kerkhoff is what made her stand out to me so much, because my junior and senior year were two very stressful years for me and a lot of other high school students. So having a teacher that is understanding of her students' stress and is willing to make accommodations to help their students is very important. All of these little efforts she made portray her genuine kindness and made her a very approachable teacher, creating an enjoyable and comfortable learning environment in her classroom, which gave me the confidence to challenge myself as much as possible. Thank you, Mrs. Van Kerkhoff.
Next, attending The Ohio State University with a major in mechanical engineering, Katherine Ogreen.
At the beginning of my junior year in Mrs. McGrath's class, I had no idea what I wanted to study further in college, didn't understand why I had to take the ACT, and had just returned to in-person school for the first time in over a year. She took the time to talk to me and my friends thoroughly, explain everything to us, and never pushed us aside, despite her being extremely busy. Along with helping me with the regular high school senior needs, she would also give me life advice that I found much more beneficial. She always made time to talk to me about my future and help me figure out my life. Even when I was just stopping by her classroom for a letter of recommendation, she would not hesitate to throw in temporary tattoos of unicorns and monkeys for me and my friends. Near the end of the year, I started to worry about how I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life almost every day. Fed up with my complaints, she told me to go home that day and figure out what I enjoyed doing as a child. The next day, she psychoanalyzed my childhood and further solidified my choice of career. She would talk to me about my interests, and along with helping me figure out what I liked, would teach me physics. Her encouragement and sharing of her own experiences is the reason I was able to come to the conclusion that I wanted to be an engineer. I could always rely on Mrs. McGrath to give me her actual opinion on anything and treat me as a real person, whether that be my future or the ongoings of my life. She is unique because she rarely sugarcoats the realities of life, but is also so encouraging. You walk away from the conversation knowing you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. She helped me handle the workload of 3 AP Sciences my senior year and listened to me complain. She always went the extra mile, whether that be driving to the online students' houses to drop off all of the lab materials, or allowing students to come in on her free periods to get extra help. Her devotion to educating all of her students is abundantly clear to anyone who is lucky enough to have her as a teacher.
Our next student attending Miami University with a major in engineering, Joseph Sanek.
Mrs. Smith Stanzavera was my teacher for both Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, and allowed me to successfully understand and learn the language without having any prior knowledge of the subject. Through only my first semester of the class, I knew it would be difficult to become fluent with the language, but Sans taught in a way where the class didn't feel too difficult, but she also got the point across. Even though there were multiple big obstacles in the class, which one of them was the predicate versus imperfect test, that one was pretty bad, that didn't stop me from wanting to learn the language. Not only was she a great teacher, but Sans was there to talk to me about other things such as sports, and would even go as far as adjusting her testing schedule to fit her students' needs. Whether that be if someone had a game or another big test for other classes, she would change her dates to assist everyone. After my first year of Spanish, I knew I would want to continue, and when I saw that I had her for Spanish 2, I was relieved, because I knew that she already knew who I was and that the class would be fun. Besides the class, she also runs Spanish Club, which I've been a part of since freshman year, and even though I missed a few meetings due to track this year, it's definitely helped me learn more about the culture and culture and not just the language. Moreover, she also stands in front of her door before every class, so when I walk by, she says hola to me every time. And that definitely helps her if I had like a rough day or did bad on a test. Overall, I think having Sans as a teacher allowed me to be successful learning Spanish while also having someone who supports me.
Congratulations. Our next student is attending Cleveland State University with a major in political science, Miss Amanda Schaefer.
Mr. Klein was my teacher when I was a junior taking honors pre-calculus. So this was during virtual learning, and every morning I would crawl out of bed and open up my Chromebook, and Mr. Klein would say, "Good morning, Amanda." And no other teacher made me feel obligated like this in the morning to say good morning. And so I'd have to go to the trouble to unmute my microphone and say, "Good morning." And I would think to myself, what is this guy's problem? I'm here to tell you what Mr. Klein's problem is. He loves teaching. Mr. Klein is one of the most dedicated and disciplined teachers I've ever had. He truly does an incredible job. He taught me more math faster than I have ever learned anything in my life through a seemingly never-ending worksheet binder. And he was always organized, productive, and ready to start educating. He sacrificed his time to host Google Meet reviews before every test, met with us to discuss questions we had on homework, and he authentically taught the material of the class. And as a student, that type of effort and planning is invaluable, and there's a reason that it's so exceptional. It takes time and a love of teaching. Mr. Klein also knows how to have fun. You're going to see in a minute he's honoring his weekly tradition of Tea Time Tuesday. And he joked with us, threw stuff at us, usually just paper, sometimes dry erase markers, and even embarrassed us from time to time when we came in late. I came in late somewhat frequently, so I always got the honor of being embarrassed more often. And so if I came in more frequently and got embarrassed more often, I'm pretty sure that's a positive function with a positive derivative. Jokes aside, Mr. Klein somehow made pre-calc an enjoyable class and somehow made a first period class enjoyable too. Besides making his class a fun environment, he also taught us a great deal of material in a great way, and the reason he was able to do all that is because he loves teaching.
Happy Tea Time Tuesday, everybody.
Our next student attending The Ohio State University with an undecided major, Mr. Cole Smith.
Having Mr. Klein as a teacher was one of the most influential experiences of my high school career. I already had a strong interest in mathematics when I entered my sophomore year of high school, but his teaching turned this interest into a passion when I first realized the depth and numerous applications of math. The biggest reason for this influence is that his teaching style fit my own interests, even outside of math, like playing catch. Combining simple, enjoyable activities like throwing a ball to decide whether the latest homework assignment would be taken for a grade with an invigorating math course kept me focused and comfortable with bringing any questions or concerns I had to him. He was always available to help after class if someone didn't understand a certain concept, and the relationships he sought to build with each student made his classroom an inviting place to be. A notable aspect of his teaching was that he always encouraged growth and commended those who put in extra effort to get better at parts of the class that they were struggling with. Throughout the school year, he gave pencils as awards to students he believed deserved to be recognized for any sort of achievement in the classroom. I still remember the first pencil I won for getting a good grade on a math test despite getting nearly every question wrong in class. For me, our shared interest in basketball made him the perfect person to talk to before any game days, even though he is partially a Brunswick fan. The year I took honors pre-calculus was the same year I made the basketball team for the first time, and Mr. Klein was much like a coach. He gave me a pep talk before tryouts and was one of the first people to congratulate me after I made the basketball team. More importantly, I learned more in his math class than I had in any class before him. At the end of the year, his teaching gave me an overall understanding of the curriculum that helped me succeed in my junior and senior year math classes. And his teaching has left a lasting impression on me and has inspired me to keep pushing myself to be better as a student and individual. As I pursue a career which will likely involve a wide variety of knowledge in mathematics, I will remember to approach each problem with the same excitement and focus that Mr. Klein expressed throughout every day in class. Thank you, Mr. Klein.
Our next student attending Baldwin Wallace University with a major in nursing, Miss Jamie Snell.
It was easy for me to choose Mrs. Boyce to be my most influential educator. Mrs. Boyce is down-to-earth, authentic, positive, and cares very deeply about her students. She has been one of my biggest supporters and role models throughout my time at Strongsville. I was fortunate enough to have her as my first volleyball coach in 7th grade, and she's been so much more than a coach and a teacher. She continues to be my mentor and my friend. In 8th grade, Mrs. Boyce taught principles of nutrition, but always had time after our classwork to discuss school, sports, and my personal life. Her class helped me to become more independent and taught me crucial life skills that extend beyond my studies in school. Mrs. Boyce motivated me to strive harder and be strong in my academics at Strongsville. She is a confident and independent person and is a great role model. I've learned so many lessons from Mrs. Boyce. She always told me that my education and hard work would be so worthwhile. I knew things wouldn't always be easy in school, but Mrs. Boyce reassured me many times that the challenges and obstacles in front of me would work out and I would be stronger in the long run. I was very inspired by Mrs. Boyce's teaching style, how she allows students to work at their own pace, but still expects assignments and projects to be done on time and well completed. I have used this philosophy in my school and personal life. I learned to pace myself on my assignments so that I would not be overwhelmed and stressed about the results. This is translated into my work ethic as I work hard for my grades and to complete my assignments to the best of my ability while working at a pace that allows me time for myself, my extracurriculars, and my family. I want to sincerely thank Mrs. Boyce for all she has done for me since meeting her in 7th grade. She has had a huge and lasting impact on my life. I cannot thank her enough for all she has taught me and modeled for me. She is a quality and valuable teacher in person. I will remember and cherish all her words of encouragement and think back on our many conversations that were so helpful. I will also remember her teaching style and how she motivated me to become much more than I might have been had we not crossed paths. As I move forward in my education and my life, Mrs. Boyce will always be with me in spirit, and she will always hold a special place in my heart. Thank you.
Good job, Erica. Nice job. Good job, Jamie. Our next student is undecided for college, but is going to major in engineering, Mr. Zachary Taylor.
I've selected Mrs. Bendetta since sophomore year. She has been inspiring me and bringing joy to my day. She always has the most cheerful and positive attitude out of anyone in the school and makes anyone else around her feel similar while they're in class. On top of making everyone feel better, she helps make anyone in French feel more interested in the language and culture. Whether it's an interesting video or an anecdote about her time in France, Mrs. Bendetta always finds a way to make her class more entertaining and engaging. Throughout my time in high school, she has made me want to continue learning about French culture and the language, even though I did not initially have much interest in it. Mrs. Bendetta has helped to fuel my passion for learning and bringing joy to my day ever since I met her. This is why I believe that she is one of the greatest teachers I have ever had.
Our next student attending The Ohio State University with a major in computer science and engineering, Mr. Evan Yang.
The selection of Mr. Mason as my most influential educator has been obvious ever since my sixth grade year. I used to be indifferent about math in school, so I was highly anticipating how Mr. Mason would facilitate learning in his class. By the end of the year, such anticipation became a feeling of sadness, as I knew I would never have another teacher like him again. By creating activities tailored to those who were more interested in math than others, while also being understanding of those who struggled with the subject, Mr. Mason was able to facilitate each student's needs. In addition, he was able to create fun activities with the students that did not rely on math. Once he took an entire class period just to teach everyone how to use chopsticks. I don't know. Having a mix of learning and fun is essential in every class, and even up to the high school level. Since Mr. Mason was the master of such, it's easy to see why he's the most influential educator I've ever had. As I was able to discover my passion for math in an environment that will live on in my memories for the rest of my life.
Congratulations. Our final student this evening, attending the Illinois Institute of Technology with a major in architectural engineering, Ms. Zoe Zylstra.
The nominee educator I have chosen is Mrs. Vendetta, or as everyone calls her, Madame. I have had the pleasure of being taught French by Madame for 2 years now, and I have learned that she is the nicest and most genuine person I have ever met. It is very clear to me that she truly enjoys teaching with her genuine happiness during class every day. Her teaching style is very effective, and she loves to teach French. She inspires me to be myself because she is a strong woman who chose to pursue her dream job. Madame loves and supports all of her students through everything that they are going through, big or small. Her appreciation and support, especially throughout the pandemic, has shown me that with the help and support of mentors and friends, I can accomplish anything I set my mind to. I am proud to say that I'm a better person for getting to know you. Thank you, Madame.
If we could, a big round of applause for these students for the hard work. I also think a big round of applause for the teachers that have influenced them. So these, whenever we hear kids talking about a teacher that had an impact on their life, or, we do talk to kids as they're leaving Strongsville for the summer, we try to do exit interviews. What students say really is quite interesting to me, because we did hear a lot of the stuff we expect to hear, right? We heard, push me, make me be my best, challenge me, have high expectations. We hear that, and I think we expect to hear that. But the one thing that always doesn't really amaze me anymore, but the one thing I've come to understand over time is the things you also hear about how their teachers made them feel important, how they care, how sometimes they make them laugh and tell funny jokes, or dress in interesting attire, or show up to events and ask them about their sports or their lives. And this mirrors what I hear from students every day. And I think that's one of the amazing things about this profession, is that being in education for over 20 years is that, I even think back, because I'm certainly not young anymore, but I remember one teacher really from high school that did those things, and that's what I remember. Very few of us sit around on Saturday night with our friends and go, gosh, you remember that chemistry test? That was awesome. We don't remember that, right? We remember the teacher that told bad jokes and made us laugh, and when we went home, we said, that teacher cares about me. That teacher makes me feel valued. And the last 2 years have taught us nothing. On top of being smart, our children being smart, on top of teachers pushing them to be their best, the best teachers are those who make them feel like they really care about them. And that shines through in every one of these speeches in both years I've been here, and anywhere in my career I've been. That always shines through, that teacher made me feel like they really valued me, which is why you see teachers from all the way back to elementary school, because they didn't forget that teacher, because that teacher made them feel that coming to school was as important to the teacher as it was to the student. So I just want to say thank you to our teachers, thank you to our students, and students, I think you owe your parents a round of applause as well. So I'll save the speech about what happens next, because I think we're going to have that in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks at commencement. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and have a great evening. Could Miss Laura Fogwell please come up here, though, before you guys leave? At the end, could she come up? I want to talk to her for 1 second. But the rest of you, thank you and have a great night.